Speaking of personal beef, Stan, I don't know if you watched the NASCAR All-Star race last night. I did. I watched it with the sound on, which is one of the first times I've done that this season. Because I'm super into NASCAR right now. It percolated a little bit with me like during lockdown and stuff because I was just fiending for sports. And now I finally get it. I got it. I see the light. This is a great motorsport. I'm in on it. And I know that NASCAR fights, people sometimes question the authenticity. It goes along with the sport. It's not bad for the sport. This race, the All-Star race, number one, very confusing. There's an open beforehand, and then there's like an all-star race that's an exhibition, doesn't count for points, but $1 million is on the line.
Don't get caught in the weeds. Keep it going. Get to the fight.
I am. You interrupted me.
How do you make the All-Star game?
Stop interrupting me.
Weird.
Let him talk. There's points. I'm not gonna. That's gonna be super confusing. Logano leads like all the laps but one, gets $1 million. But in the first lap, Ricky Stenhouse gets pushed into the wall by Kyle Busch, and Kyle Busch he DNFs, he goes into pit lane, and he decides after that moment that he's going to park in Kyle Busch's pit box and have a word with the crew chief. Now, the NASCAR commentary team pointed out that Stenhouse is kind of locked in here until the race finishes because there's no bridge outside. So he's just spending 2 hours stewing. He had changed out of his tracksuit into some shorts, and he decided, you know what? I'm going to get me some. I've had 2 hours to concentrate on this. He had other interviews where he said someone may have to hold my watch. So he goes right up to Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is an agitator, and a lot of people have an issue with Kyle Busch in the NASCAR circuit. And he punches him in the face. He punches him in the face, and a brawl ensues. And part of the brawl, you see that Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s dad gets punched in the face by Kyle Busch. Then there's an absolute unit of a track dude. This dude in a tracksuit cleans house, and nobody wants that. This dude's a total unit. But here's a great angle. At first, I was like, it's a fake punch. But this angle shows you that Ricky Stenhouse was feeling feisty, and he connects with like the temple. He got a good shot in on Kyle Busch, and it was a pretty good brawl. And I love that NASCAR is just like, I don't know if any fines will result of this. I don't know that much about the sport, but this was pretty much covered like it's a regular occurrence.
We've all been there waiting 2 hours to punch somebody, and the rage doesn't subside.
Yeah, can we show the unit one more time?
Giant guy?
Can we show the one dude that was like, I don't care if this is staged or not.
Right.
Black and green tracksuit guy cleaned house, and nobody wanted any of that smoke. That giant unit of a man.
Everybody has wanted to do this to Kyle Busch for a while, including this show.
Here's big unit coming in. Yeah, he's coming in hot. That's Ricky Stenhouse Sr. fighting with Kyle Busch. Ricky Stenhouse Sr. got clocked by Kyle Busch.
Sasquatch.
Here comes our unit.
Yes, he's just clearing people out.
Nobody. Whoa, that is strength. And he's got the high ground, too. So everybody, he says clear out of the way. People clear out of the way. But this was a great moment, and there's so many great camera angles of this. Kyle Busch was followed by journalists, and there's actually beautiful cinematography for iPhone cameras. There's one shot where Kyle just approaches, but there's a great still from all this. There's a couple great stills. If we can fire up the still image of Kyle Busch approaching Ricky Stenhouse, who is there waiting for him, casually with an arm up on the truck, ready to fight. Can I get that one image, please? And what's so cool about this is you got the ghost of the Intimidator hanging over his shoulder. You got the three, the immortal three right behind Ricky Stenhouse. That is a memeable photo. That is a great photo. Shorts were a bad choice if you want to look tough for Ricky Stenhouse. But yeah, NASCAR is here. I think it's having a moment, and that's totally internalized because I'm just a NASCAR fan now. But if you want something cool that isn't a fight, and many of you don't, many of you, your affinity for NASCAR begins and ends with the NASCAR pit fight. I get that. It's not for everybody. But something unprecedented is happening Memorial Day weekend, this coming weekend. Kyle Larson, who I told you, it's not my take. What made me get really into this was Marty Smith. Marty Smith telling me that Kyle Larson's the best driver on the planet, and that includes Max Verstappen. But what Kyle Larson did over the weekend was kind of prove Marty Smith right. Kyle Larson flew into this All-Star race. He flew in from Indianapolis. Why? because he was busy qualifying for the Indianapolis 500, and not just qualifying, like barely getting in. We've seen Tony Stewart do this before. We've seen Kurt Busch do this before. Kurt Busch, I don't know how many times he even raced IndyCar, but he had like a 25th place finish. What Kyle Larson did was, as a rookie, he qualified 5th overall for the Indy 500. That's not what he drives. He is a NASCAR driver. In his first shot, he qualifies top 5. And what he's going to do this holiday weekend is something special. He is looking to be the first driver since Tony Stewart way back when to complete every mile of this double. He is racing the Indy 500, and he's racing a NASCAR race in Charlotte the very same day. Wow. And Kyle Larson actually has a shot, and this would be mind-blowing, and a mind-blowing achievement if he does it in his debut at Indy to win it. But can you imagine if Kyle Larson strolls into that motorsport and wins its most prestigious race?
Chris Cody, do you have some sound of Kyle Busch hanging up on our show?
What was the most memorable brother fight that you guys had? You guys had to have good brother fights, no?
Oh, yeah. There was definitely times where, it came down to maybe a little throwing match or screaming match, whatever, but really can't remember the exact subject it might have been over. So all in all, it's just no different than any other brothers, I'd say.
But, Kyle, you're always fighting.
I am.
You're not?
Not that I know of.
You haven't fought with a bunch of people like Kevin Harvick and that old guy that you fought, Childress?
Yeah, all right. Well, just keep bringing them up. Who else you got?
Well, okay. No, that's my list. But it's a lot with Harvick. It's right. It's not one or two with Harvick. It's a lot with Harvick. No?
I don't know.
All right, Kyle, good talking to you. We're done here. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
He got the dealer clap.
The old landline.
Patented.
Stugotz has for us his top 5 classic NASCAR last names. But just real quick, I want to see that one angle again. When the punch connects, does spittle come out of the mouth of Kyle Busch? You guys tell me if there's spittle anywhere here.
Oh, wow.
A lot.
It seemed like that knocked the spit out of his mouth is what it looked like.
Did he have a drink in his hand? Was that all from his mouth?
It looked
Play it
like,
again. We need to play it again.
It looked like it was spittle. Stugotz, let's do your top 5 classic NASCAR last names. Any OLIs here?
Yeah, I have 4. Yep.
Oh, it's a water. There's a water bottle in his hand.
It's a water bottle.
4 OLIs?
Yes.
Juju just whispered, "Where are the fathers?"
He got punched. I couldn't get my joke in because y'all talk so goddamn much. Jesus.
It's amazing.
You just finna give him a joke. Salute. I love you, Mike.
Jarrett.
He needs the fanfare, Chris. Keep up.
Allison. Bush. Wallace. Number 5. Unser. Number 4. Earnhardt.
Just keep hitting it.
Number 3. Yarborough.
Number 2.
Petty.
Number 1.
Waltrip.